The surge in tomato prices has ignited a wave of curiosity among consumers, prompting them to seek out effective methods to preserve this beloved fruit, with the aim of combating the effects of the price hike and ensuring a steady supply throughout the year. Speaking with some of the traders at my 12 market who spoke off camera, they gave some techniques to help in preserving tomatoes. Now, these techniques are as follows. Canning. This is a popular method that allows you to store tomatoes for an extended period. You start off by washing and blanching the tomatoes, then remove the skin and seeds. You cut them into desired sizes and pack them tightly into sterilized jars. You add your lemon juice or citric acid to maintain acidity and prevent spoilage. You seal the jars and process them in a boiling water to create a vacuum seal. The next technique is freezing. Now, this is a simple and convenient way to preserve tomatoes. You begin by washing and blanching the tomatoes, then remove the skin and core. You cut them into pieces or leave them whole, depending on your preference. You place them in freezer-safe containers or bags, ensuring to remove any excess air. You label and date the containers before placing them in the freezer. The next technique, which is drying. Drying tomatoes concentrate their flavors and allows for long-term storage. You slice the tomatoes into thin, even pieces and place them on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. You sprinkle them with salt and herbs if desired. You dry the tomatoes in a low temperature or a food dehydrator until they are leathery in texture. You store the dried tomatoes in airtight containers in a cool, dark place. This next technique is the tomato paste. Making tomato paste is an excellent way to preserve a large quantity of tomatoes. You start by cooking down peeled and sealed tomatoes until they reduce in volume. You continue simmering until the mixture thickens to a paste-like consistency. Add salt and other seasonings to taste. Pour the paste into sterilized jars, leaving a small headspace, and process them in a water bath canner. By employing these preservation techniques, consumers can take control of their tomato supply and mitigate the impact of rising prices. Whether you choose canning, freezing, drying, or making tomato paste, these methods will help you enjoy the taste of fresh tomatoes throughout the year. As the tomato price hike continues to affect consumers, it is essential to explore these preservation methods to ensure a steady supply of this versatile fruit.
Okay, my name is Chef Kate. So for your fresh tomato, how to preserve your fresh tomato? By the time, once you just buy it, get to the house, wash it very well. You can decide to blend them and put it in your syrup and stock it in your freezer. Anytime you want to use it, just bring it out and then you fry it. Or you can decide to just wash it and stock it in your freezer inside your syrup. Anytime you want to use it, just bring it and blend it. So it depends on any way you want to do it. Even your vegetable, anyone. Just that simple.
The only means now, okay, the means that can help us to preserve tomatoes is still the same transportation. Because when they harvest it from the farm, it takes 2 days to get here. Assuming it can get here within 24 hours, it can still get here fresh than the way it is now. But most times it gets here 2 days, 3 days before it gets here because of bad road and the means of transporting it. You know, we only use lorry in transporting it. At least if they can introduce rail, it may be a little bit faster than the lorries that we use. Or, you know, we use basket, but thank God now we are using crates. The crate is better than the basket. So I believe with time we improve.
I can take him to freezer.
Oh, you go blend and first?
Yes, to put him into freezer. Yes, he cannot spoil it. Because see, like 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks. Yes, if you know touch it, you know the spoil him.
And you're welcome back. Thank you so much for staying. That was market trends, and of course, as is expected, you got to find out what's happening in the market as regards prices of food stuff. Today we were looking at tomatoes. Josh, are looking at me. You like jollof rice too much.
I like my jollof rice, and of course, I like my tomato stew too for white rice.
And egg sauce.
And egg sauce. And egg sauce. And egg
Josh!
sauce.
See,
But then they said there's this alternative to tomato. Have you tried it?
carrots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I have, but it still doesn't take away the fact that we need tomatoes in our lives. You
Of
get what I'm
course, of
saying?
course, of
Like
course.
if you use carrots as an alternative to make stew, right? Yeah, it works. It's actually very tasty because you know carrots are sweet on their own, so you know it kind of infuses. I'm going to another direction. Let's focus on why we're here.
Let's focus.
But you know that there is so much happening. Like tomato is a perishable good, so you can understand why the price keeps going up. In fact, Josh, the gist is plenty from the fact that the rate of the dollar keeps coming down and prices of goods and services in the market are not reducing. We're yet to demystify that one. But then I think it was on social media buzz, I think it was on Friday that we were having that conversation around how that there are so many things that are involved in why prices may not be coming down as we expect. And if you look at it, they are valid. Because right now, we're just talking about electricity and tariff. A lot of people don't have electricity, and it requires a lot of that to preserve the tomatoes. So imagine the Iya, whoever in the market, who first of all doesn't even have access to those systems of preservation. So her tomatoes perishes, so she has to sell. And if she doesn't sell, she has to make her gain. If she doesn't make her gain, she cannot buy to sell again.
Definitely.
And it's just a lot put together. I feel like there is so much we need to do. And like I said, we're majoring on the minor, leaving the major conversations that we're supposed to be having. But how do you react to the entire thing?
Yeah, it's even a whole lot because people are asking, why is it that the Naira is appreciating, but it's commensurate with the cost of goods and services? You know, because it now leaves one with a feeling of, is this measure of bringing the dollar down an artificial, you know, stuff? Because we are supposed to see a situation where, as the Naira appreciates, the cost of goods and services reduces. But now we're not even seeing that happen. So something is going wrong. So if we're talking about cost of goods and services, for instance, tomato on the increase, it tells you that there is much that needs to be done, especially with regards to the cost of transporting these goods down to the marketplaces. Why I'm saying this, because since the removal of fuel subsidy, which of course, in its absolute sense, subsidy removal has not gone, yet we are supposed to see measures put in place to make sure that people who transport these goods down to the marketplaces are able to do so at a subsidized rate. Now brings to the question of where is the CNG buses. The last time I applied one along Lagos Ibadan
I saw the video you made.
So I felt like if these things can go around other states, if other state governors can buy into this new idea, I think it will go a long way in the cost of goods and services that has to come from one part of the country to another. Because come to look at it, you cannot tell somebody who does a business, for instance, an Alaji who is into agriculture in the north, who has, you know, loads of trucks that come into Lagos. Because of course, the last time I checked, the number of trucks that come into my 12 market is about 1,000 trucks. So imagine these 1,000 trucks coming in and being powered by diesel. You know the cost of diesel. So if that sector can have some form of rejigging, perhaps being powered by CNG, it will trickle down to the cost of goods. Not also forgetting the fact that the roads are not also good.
They are not.
So these vehicles get to break down as a result of bad roads.
You need to fix them.
And now we're talking about perishable items. Are you telling me that these items that do not have shelf life and gets, you know, abandoned on the road for days, are you telling me they will stay fresh by the time they get there? So all of these things factor in. So
like I said,
I don't blame them why.
It's a lot.
Of course it's a lot.
And you know, you just in this your submission, you mentioned how that we now know that subsidy payment is back. If it's back, why are we still buying fuel at the rate that we're buying it? So it means there is a lot of dishonesty going on. I understand that they said subsidy is back, the federal government is paying more. But if you're paying, we should feel the effects. And the fact that it is there and you're paying at all means some huge part of the chunk of the responsibility is taken off of the average Nigerian's shoulders. So why is the average Nigerian still buying fuel at 600 and above? Why? Why is diesel still costing as much as it is? Why? These are the questions.
So
and of
many
course,
whys, you know.
it all put together affects the price of goods and services in the market. And then my tomatoes. My dear tomatoes.
You just have to go the alternative.
Hey, God.
Unfortunate.
Who does this thing?
Yet when we now rely on grains from war-torn countries, someone tells us it's not a sign of bad governance.
Do you understand, Josh? There is a lot to this conversation.
The average thing that a Nigerian should enjoy, good food, we can't have it.
We grow these things.
And we grow it here.
We grow these things. I was in Jos in 2021. 2020, 2021, I was in Jos, and my God, the site is beautiful. I mean, you're looking at a tomato plant, and it's like the entire space of this compound plus the next compound after this one, right? All red and beautiful. And that's like for somebody who has a small farm. There are people that this is what they do, and they have acres and acres of land covered in green, beautiful, and red, beautiful tomatoes and strawberries and grapes. And yet, other parts of the country cannot have access to these things because the roads are bad, the fuel to power the vehicles are expensive. Are you even talking about manpower? It's to pay salaries,
even security, because these guys also go into the farm. How safe is the farm? So we have a whole lot of issues on the table, but yet what this government is bent on, they have a knack for
hiking prices, tariffs, hiking it.
Very intelligent men who will come around and tell us they are doing something, whereas what we're only seeing is just increment of tariff across various sectors of the economy, but no significant improvement.
Good English and bamboozling administration. I think it's quite unfortunate. I do not blame the traders, you know, who trade on these perishable items. By the time, let us even assume the trucks do not break down on the road. By the time they maneuver the roughness of the road, the bad roads and all, before they get to the market, a journey that is supposed to take a day or two would have taken like 5 or 6 days. Yes. So it's still the same thing. These goods are packed up.
Don't forget, we're also going into the rainy seasons, and more trucks will be abandoned on the road as
because
a result
the road will get worse.
Yes, yeah. So we should, factor that in the coming days.
It's quite sad. It is quite sad. It's just lack of sincerity of purpose, because there is no other way to explain this. It's not rocket science. There are no functional silos, no functional preservatory systems. There are no chilling vans anywhere. There are no chilling warehouses anywhere. We don't mind. Build it, we'll pay. Shabi, you will still increase the price. No problem. Hike it. But just people just need to be able to have access to these things so that the economy can grow. I mean, you cannot be an administration that claims to be very interested in creating an enabling business environment, in improving the economy of the nation. And yet, every day you make one policy or the other, or make one decision or the other that completely tramples,
anti-business, anti-people,
tramples on young and growing businesses, on MSMEs, on even the big conglomerates are also suffering. They're having their own bite of the cake. Honestly. It's so sad. But of course, that is the much we have on the market trends. We'll bring you another edition. It will be next week, Tuesday. But when we return, we'll bring you other conversations. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.